Hello and welcome back to Look Who's Talking for episode 6, Demons of the Punjab. What do you think, Chris?
It was okay. Which is starting to be a running theme for this season, which is starting to worry me a bit. So it was all right. It was
inoffensive. It was okay. There were some good bits, but it wasn't great. I think the worst thing about this, and for me the reason why it's worse than Rosa, is structurally it felt like kind of the same thing. Even though the historical context was different, it still boiled down to, we can't do anything, this thing has to happen, we're going to sit here and let it happen. There's your episode.
Yeah, it's just one of those strange episodes where I kind of feel like when I watched The Hungry Earth in Series 5, where afterwards I was like, okay. You know, like...
Yeah, what really happened?
Do you just sit outside on, like, a balcony or something and just look at something for, like, an hour, and you don't really take anything in, and then you just go, oh, that was nice. That was kind of the feeling that episode gave me. Like, I'm being serious. Like, it was just...
You heard it here first. That's the most in-depth, detailed review you're going to get.
it was just, you know...
It's like when you're eating a bag of chips and you think, wonder if I should have gotten some dip with these chips. And then, you know, before you know it, an hour's gone. It's like that, isn't it?
No, it really was. So there was, for me, like, the Doctor, you know, Jodie Whittaker was fine. I don't think that was her best performance. I don't think it was her worst. All the companions...
I feel like she's just drifting through the series. Like, she had one doctory moment this week where she was saying to the demons, like, you know, you're not going to be trespassing here, it's under my protection, all this kind of stuff. But she hasn't had anything close to the first episode where she was confronting Tim Shaw. There's been none of that fire.
But this has kind of been the problem, I think. There's been no... Oh, God, I can't believe I'm saying this after week 1, but there's been no villains that really equal the Stenza. And the Stenza weren't that great. They were just Sarah Jane Adventures fodder.
Yeah.
And, like, again, this week we've got a bunch of aliens, and this seems to be a hallmark of the Chibnall era now. Aliens are turning up, you think they're doing something wrong, and then it's either they're harmless or their motive isn't what you think it is. The only villain that hasn't really had that, I guess, are the Stenza and Krasko. I mean, Krasko was awful, so I don't really know Krasko.
Yeah. The villains this week, the villains were better. I liked that it ended up being a human enemy.
But it was a callable thing, because there was like, other than the TARDIS team, there was, how many people? 4 people? 2 of them were getting married. You had the guy who died at the beginning. 5. You had the guy who died at the beginning, and you had his brother, and then you had the mum. Well, it's not going to be the mum, is it? And it's not going to be Graham, so who's left? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not particularly...
And there was no tension because you knew Prem had to die, and it was never sort of questioned, will he, won't he? It was just, he's going to die, that's the thing that's going to happen. You don't spend enough time with him or really get to know him to really care. I think you get a lot of context to the partition, which is interesting, but it's more like I'm watching a History Channel programme rather than getting Doctor Who. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting facts, but I'm like, there's nothing to emotionally tie it together.
And I think as well, like, sort of a complaint I kind of had with Rose as well that we didn't really touch on. Yes, it's the partition, but did we see anything? No, we're in a barn again.
Yeah.
And we keep doing this every week. We've got these big concepts, and then we're confined to a very small space where you don't really see anything.
I actually think the last couple of series, even though sometimes there'd be a hokey green screen or an effect that didn't quite look good, you'd at least get the scale and there'd be a lot of spectacle and they'd be zipping around to these planets. Whereas I feel like every week, which is annoyingly something I said I really liked in the first episode, was it's just a location, it looks really good, it's minimalistic, but when it's every week, you just get a bit like, well, okay, so we've landed in India, which is just a barn. Yeah. And they never go beyond the woods, really, and then some horses turn up and there's 2 aliens. They go to their spaceship, which is one tiny room, and that's all you get.
I was disappointed the barn wasn't the same barn from Day of the Doctor.
Me too,
I
wanted to tie it back together, yeah.
Fanboys,
I mean,
you write that fiction.
John Hurt might turn up at some point.
It's just...
He won't because he's
I don't know,
dead.
I'm just getting a bit... It's hard to explain because it's not bad, is it? Other than last week. I don't want to go on another 20-minute rant about last week.
No.
What is this series?
It's been harmless. It's been forgettable, which is worse. Like, last week was bad, but we came out of it like, oh, that was so bad, and we had loads to say. Whereas this week I've just been kind of like, yeah, there were some interesting bits, but it's never going to be an episode that I'm going to think about. It was interesting, but I don't care about half the companions as well.
I felt like the problem was as well, we're expected to just buy into this story because we've seen Yaz's grandma for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But why wasn't Yaz's grandma established right from the beginning? This is the
Yeah.
problem. There's too much bleeding here. And like, I don't care about Yaz's grandma in the first 5 minutes. Yes, she's quite charming, but I don't know her. So going back into history, like something like
She should have been
Father's
in
Day.
Arachnids in the UK, shouldn't
Exactly.
she? Yeah.
Like Father's Day, you've got Jackie Tyler, who's been in like how many episodes of that series? She's been in 3 as like a direct character, and she's a presence.
And they'd referenced the fact the father had passed away.
Numerous times, so it
Yeah.
feels earned.
Yeah.
And like, there's loads of references to things that have gone on. In this, it's just like, oh, here's this character you don't know. Okay, we're going to explore their backstory, which happened last week as well. I mean, this was better than last week. I thought the location for what it was very nice. It was nicely shot, although I'm starting to wonder whether it is nicely shot or whether the budget injection just means they've got nicer cameras.
Yeah. Wait, I don't think it really feels like the budget's had a complete overhaul. Like when you first saw the initial trailers, it was like, this looks way better.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, the scale's not there, the spectacle's not there. I think if I was watching it as a child, I'd be really bored.
I think Yaz is still weak, and this was a Yaz-centric episode.
Yeah.
For me, I've completely 180'd on my initial feeling of Ryan. I thought he had some good lines this episode. Graham is, as we've said on every episode of this show, so I'm not going to say it that much, consistently good. He had that nice little monologue with Yaz again.
I feel like that's the problem is every week now it's just him being like, I'm going to give this monologue to help this person out. Like he's being more effective than the Doctor sometimes.
Yeah, he
I feel
is.
like some of the things he says should be things Jodie Whittaker's saying, and she doesn't get those
I still
moments.
don't know what her... Again, I very tenuously have an understanding of who her character is.
Yeah.
And again, as we've said, it's not like with Capaldi where they're developing that across the series.
Yeah.
It's more just like confused. So this was the first episode written not by Chris Chibnall. I know episode 3 was written by Mallory Blackman, but that was with Chris Chibnall.
Yeah.
This was the first episode not credited to Chris Chibnall. Did it feel that way?
I guess it did. There was nothing in it that stood out as like particularly bad dialogue. I don't think structurally it was a misfire. It just there was no feeling for me of like, oh my god, like how are they going to stop this thing? Because very early on they were just like, well, we can't do anything. It's historical. It's got to go this way, so we're just going to watch.
It's one of those ones where I can say like season 4 of Doctor Who, when you've got like weighted on certain sides, you have like really fun campy episodes that you remember, like the Sontaran Stratagem. You have Fires Pompeii, and then the back half you have like Midnight, etc. And then you have the Unicorn and the Wasp, which is okay. It's okay. It's 45 minutes of my time that I won't get back. That's reasonably okay, but like it's not.
Yeah.
And we've had that every week.
Yeah.
We've had the
and
Unicorn
because there's a
and the Wasp
reduced
every week.
episode count, it's like there's 4 episodes left now. If this was a 13 episode run, I'd be less worried. But now, Kablam next week doesn't look particularly good. That's got to be great. The one after that's got to be great, and then the final 2 have got to be great. If we want to save this season.
But I don't think. Again, if it was bad, I'd be like, oh, I'd be really passionate. I'm losing passion watching this, and I think that's a problem. This feels like series 10 for me, which is very disappointing for me for the same reason. In that,
Yeah, it came and went.
I feel like after last week, it feels like we're just coming in and saying, oh, we don't like it. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I've got no problem with any of the cool things that they've tried to do. I don't have any problem with the progressive themes. I don't have any problem with the like any of the things that they've done tonally to change
I
it.
like that they're exploring
New ideas with free companions, etc.
and big deals in history and things that we should learn about, and it's good for kids to learn about that kind of stuff. But I think it's starting to fall too far into edutainment.
But it's not even,
what was the threat? There was
no
threat.
It's not even that though, because it's like, what did we actually learn about the partition? Like, if you want to do serious historical, do serious historical, boot the aliens, and do it like the Aztecs or something that's actually teaching us something that had some vague allusions to partition. It wasn't in any depth about partition. It didn't show you the fallout of partition. It didn't give you context of partition. It was just, oh, we're in the partition of India, and this is where India's going to get divided into Pakistan. That was like, that's literally all we kind of got. So if you're going to commit to that kind of thing, really, really commit, and that'd be a cool new vision for the show.
I feel like as well there's problems that have been running through the season that are systemic, like every single week the supporting cast are terrible. None of them can act every single week. Who's casting these people? How come the same casting team cast the leads so well, and they're just like, yeah, well, it doesn't really matter about the rest of it, does it? We'll just get any guy off the street.
Yeah, the performances this week were uniformly terrible.
Yeah.
Like in a really weird way, as if like...
Not as bad as the Doctor from last week. Not the Doctor, the guy that was at the start that then went out the escape pod.
That was terrible.
He's taken the crown for worst acting.
I don't know. I eat my salad Halloween. Big.
That's great. The way he delivered that, I mean, we're joking, but actually, the way he delivered that was better than any of the deliveries this week. You could tell he was drunk. You could tell he was having a good time mugging this alien off. That's all he needed to do.
Hey,
you know?
partition. Eat my salad. No, it's not. Oh. Yeah, it's not even one of those ones again where it's like, oh, they had this really wonky scene that they did. It just felt very flat.
Well, as you were saying when the episode was on, it would be better if it was really bad, because then at least we'd have something to rip into. But it's not, is it? It's just fine. It's fine.
And I don't want it to look as if we're like, oh, it'd be really fun to rip into it. Yeah. Put sucked in the title.
It would be more to get our teeth into.
Yeah. And like, as obviously fans of the show, it's like, I accept that nearly every episode of Doctor Who has a stinker in it. But come on, we're on episode 6 now. And it's not like episode 6 of a 13 episode run. You're normally in the 13, especially in RTD, the season starts to kick into gear around 7 or 8, doesn't it? But it's like, we're past that point in percentile now.
I'm struggling to see a classic this season.
I mean, we don't know. We've got 3 episodes. There's only 1 episode with no synopsis left. So let's speculate on what that is. Go.
Also,
go.
I don't think it's building towards a finale either. Like, we had a mention of the Stenza in Ghost Monument. I guess they're going to be the Ark villains, but what else is going to crop up? It just feels like there's going to be a finale and that's it. Or is it going to feed into the New Year's Day episode?
I don't know. I mean, what's even going to happen in the finale? You know, like is everything just going to? Is it going to be
not
a
even
big
in terms of
scale,
plotting? Like, what's the character arcs? I'm struggling to see where these
people been on?
Yeah, where are they going to end up?
It's bizarre to me that they haven't gone back in time and just visited what's she called? Sharon D. Clark's character.
Oh, Grace.
Yeah, it's just little things like that. I'm like, she's just kind of been dropped, hasn't she, in a weird way?
Yeah, I don't really get the feeling that Bradley Walsh is really mourning. No. I mean, I guess he did say that travelling was taking his mind off it, but it just seems like it's like...
Yeah, we're past the point where I think after episode... When we were reviewing episode 4 and we gave it a very positive review, we were like, oh, this has tipped the scale back because Ghost Monument was okay.
Yeah.
We only felt 12. And now as it's progressively just coming that the aggregate is going like just to a 5 out of 10 consistently, it's now just feeling like, what can actually redeem this?
I think it's important to note that we're watching this every week and we're getting more and more kind of fed up with it being mediocre. So perhaps it sounds like we dislike this more than we actually do. There's some good stuff in it, and there's some stuff in it that's better than Arachnids in the UK. But when it was week 4, we had more energy, didn't we?
I honestly think there's only been one actually outright bad episode. Like, this episode wasn't bad. It was just okay. But I don't want a whole season of okay. I would prefer a graph that looked like this than a graph that looks like that.
Yeah, which is what I feel like you get with Series 9. There's some real low points in that, but then you get Saigon Inversion, you get Heaven Sent.
No, I'm saying that for clicks. I love Heaven Sent.
But you do. You get Heaven Sent, you get Saigon Inversion, you get some really good stuff. Whereas this has just been...
But we don't know. Like, if it went...
It's not going to happen. I'm calling it now. I don't. You know what? No, I'm being a negative Nancy. We might get 4 more classics after this episode. We'll hope. We can spend years after talking about how good Kablam was.
So to alleviate how much of a downer this is, what would be the best fake plot point that they could do that would win you over completely?
I think we can't put that in.
No, my mum watches this every week. So what would be the one thing that could save this season for you? Like what one thing?
If there was a complete game changer next week, which communicated to me what the arc's going to be, who the villain's going to be in the finale, where all the characters are going. Something that will give it just a bit of thrust. It doesn't have to be that next week we start on a plot that continues for 4 episodes. I don't mind having individual stories, but something in the background needs to start turning. There's no cogs turning. I don't care about where we're going to end up at the moment. We're just travelling aimlessly.
You're not getting that. I'm sorry. It's just going to be an okay episode, isn't it? That's not going to happen. I
thought you meant like, you're not getting it. Yeah, this season's pretty deep, actually. It's directed by Zack Snyder.
No, I'm not like the small 5% of commenters who are enthusiastic about this channel. Sorry, guys. No, it's...
What do you want from it?
don't even know anymore. I think that's the issue. If the next 4 episodes, like this theme part 1 just seems okay, what if it has a twist that's so good that I go, whoa, there's no twist, there's no, oh no thing. And I think that's partly that there's no 2-parters. But
I need like a gut punch. I need something really cool to happen.
yeah, like the sphere at the end of, not Parting of Ways, at the end of Army of Ghosts or something like that.
Yeah.
Something cool where you go,
You know what? I thought it was really cool they weren't going to have any returning monsters, but at this stage, just chuck a Dalek in. I just need something. Give me something. You know, I'll take an ood at this point. Just,
oh,
you know.
no. Why if we had the Absorber off bag?
I'd take the Absorber off. That'd be something. Rather than these, we're actually here because we're going to kill him. Oh, no, we're just here to watch. What the up with that? That's boring.
Can I just say at the
This
start of
Absorber off would be like, oh, tasty.
I asked you at the start of this episode not to swear.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm done with this.
And so this concludes this week's Look Who's Talking. I can't really present, so hopefully the doors have already closed.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Full Fat Videos YouTube channel.